if you've been to Cregneash, you'll see a picture of this old fellow with a beard down to here.
Not
that dissimilar to Dylan Mercer from the newsroom, actually. Big beard and little tiny glasses propped on the end of his nose and a little cap with a book open. Well, Neddy Beg Roy was kind of like the village poet, and everything and anything that was written would go to Neddy. So Neddy would read it out to the people, and if they wanted a letter written, Neddy would write the letters. But he was also a poet, and there was a fellow called Charles Roder, a folklife collector, or folklore collector, who spent a lot of time with Neddy Beg. So there's a few recollections from Neddy Beg here, which I thought were quite worthy of reading out. So Neddy says, "Fairies are very light, and I suppose the strong winds have blown them away, as they are not allowed to come into the houses in stormy weather as they used to do, for they get no shade of a, shade of a being a welcome, so they don't get a welcome anymore. Fairies don't show themselves to the present generation as they did to the old folks, but it's not to be wondered at, for the people are now so sinful and impudent and wicked that fairies themselves make no acquaintance with us, and every generation gets worse, for the faith of many is waxen cold. I've not heard anything about fairies this long time. There's no one hearing them but the women in the little shop, or the woman in the little shop. She was telling me the other day that she went out one night this winter about 12 o'clock, and she heard them among the elder trees, and they were talking away in some language that she could not understand, and they came as near to her that she could hear them whisper in her ears, but could not understand what they were saying. So she got very fearful and got in the house as fast as possible and shut the door after her. I fancy they must be foreign fairies that are visiting the island, for all the fairy tales I've heard from the old folks was Manx, but it appears the Manx fairies are gone away, or have changed their language like the Manx people, and it's no wonder when the people gave over talking Manx. Perhaps the fairies could not understand English and changed their language as well for spite, for I've heard that some of them were very spiteful when offended.